Good morning, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends. Welcome to the 8th Annual Judicial Summit on Mental Health. I'm Kristi Taylor. I'm the Executive Director of the Texas Judicial Commission on Mental Health, and it's truly a privilege to honor and be with all of you here today. This summit has become a cornerstone for uniting us around our shared mission. Each of you brings your unique experiences and your gifts, and we're so grateful that you're here working to improve our systems together. What makes this summit special is not just the speakers and the learning, but the connection that happens. I hope that all of you brought your business cards and that you'll make an effort to meet new people. My hope that the next few days will leave you encouraged, equipped, and inspired, and remind you that none of us does this work alone. It is now my honor to introduce the two leaders of the Judicial Commission on Mental Health. Justice Jane Bland was unable to be here today. The Supreme Court is actually on the bench this morning. Justice Jane Bland has served on the Supreme Court of Texas since 2019. Before that, she served 6 years as a Harris County District Court judge and 15 years on the First Court of Appeals. She is board certified in civil appellate law and civil trial law by the Texas Board of Legal Specialization. And we are honored to have her as one of our chairs. She has recorded a welcome for all of us.
Good morning and welcome to the 8th Annual Judicial Summit on Mental Health. Since its founding, the Judicial Commission on Mental Health has been guided by the vision of our state's two highest courts to facilitate collaboration, education, and leadership at the intersection of mental health and the justice system. I regret that Justice Huddle and I cannot be with you this morning. We are on the bench, and we can't be two places at once. The Texas Supreme Court is holding oral argument this week. But we're very glad that our colleagues on the Court of Criminal Appeals, Judge Jesse McClure and Judge Gina Parker, are with you. Just to highlight some of the Commission's recent successes, through the Judicial Council and the efforts of legislators on both sides of the aisle, we saw several proposals signed into law for positive change in mental health during the last legislative session. This summit that you're at this morning has the largest in-person attendance that we have ever had. And our work in communities across the state has increased with local workshops to help people identify gaps and design practical solutions to those gaps that meet local needs. You will hear more about some of these solutions during this summit. For all of us, our work is rooted in sharing and implementing improvements to mental health and the justice system. This summit's curriculum reflects that work and that spirit. Thank you to Kristi Taylor, Kama Harris, and their team, and to the many volunteers who have made this summit what it is. I hope we are very grateful for your work. I hope for all of you here today that the summit will inspire you to build connections and resources that will continue after it concludes. I hope, too, that being together will give you strength for the difficult work that you do, knowing that you are not in it alone. Have an informative and rewarding 2 days and enjoy being together.
Thank you to Justice Bland. Next, I would like to bring up the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals JCMH Chair, the Honorable Jesse F. McClure III. Judge McClure was appointed to the Court of Criminal Appeals in 2020. From 2019 to 2020, he presided over a district court in Harris County, and he also served as a special prosecutor for the Texas Department of Insurance for over 7 years and 11 years with Tarrant County. Thank you, Judge McClure.
Well, good morning. Just look around at you don't even have to know the individual roles in this room to know that there are a lot of different roles served in this room. I see a hat that makes me think of a sheriff's deputy. I see stars. I see probation windbreakers. This is an amazing event, and this is an event where real change can happen and real collaboration can happen. Again, this is our 8th annual summit. I'm honored to be here and to serve as one of your co-chairs. Like I said, there's so many roles in this room. There's judges, there's attorneys, there's law enforcement officers, there's probation, there's mental health professionals, community leaders, and when you look around the room and see all the different roles here, it reminds you of how seriously we take mental health issues in the justice system. If you look at the most recent biannual report from JCMH, you'll see that it's not just numbers, it's not just having a summit and hanging out. There's real progress that is happening right now, and that will continue to happen when it comes to mental health in the justice system. And you guys are the ones in the vineyard, if I may steal a biblical allusion. You're the ones doing the work. I just see the results, 5 years later in a legal brief, but you're there living it every day, and you're to be commended for your work on that. So if you look at the program for today, you'll see this action I'm talking about. You'll see this progress that I'm talking about. You'll hear about people with autism and their encounters with the justice system. You'll hear about people who have undergone the incarceration of a parent and the impact that had on their lives. You'll also hear some things that maybe hit a little closer to home for us, whether it's burnout, fatigue, and you'll hear about practical ways to mitigate burnout and fatigue. We'll have breakout sessions this afternoon, and those breakout sessions will focus on some more discrete problems that maybe your community is facing, whether it's collaborating across different professions in your community, whether it's dealing with youth involved in the justice system or youth mental health issues in general, whether it's building just stronger partnerships, in an effective way. So what can happen here in the next 2 days, besides having fun and seeing old friends, is that you can make new connections and you can get new ideas. Maybe somebody in one part of the state is dealing something that you're dealing with, that they're doing it in a slightly different way, and that can be something that you can learn from. You can influence how we as courts handle mental health issues, whether it's a civil case, a probate matter, or a criminal case. So again, I want to thank you for being here. Again, I hope you enjoy the program. I hope you enjoy the formal parts, the people coming to speak, but also the informal parts where you meet somebody new, getting a cup of coffee. Again, thank you so much for all the work you do, and I'm honored to be one of the co-chairs of this organization. Thank you very much.